guys, this is Carina Carinosa, and today we're going to learn how to get started in the crypto market. So we're going to cover a lot about Bitcoin, understanding the value of it and also the problems with it. We're going to cover in brief detail about Ethereum and Litecoin, which are two other major players. And then we're also going to cover all the different exchanges that you need to get set up on, the accounts that you've got to set up, and some detailed intricacies about working with them, as well as helping you to get started so that you can invest in alternate currencies as quickly as possible. So I wanted to start you out with this particular page just because you're going to need to learn some lingo. What I'm doing is, as you know, I'm creating an email that I'm happy to send out to you with all of these different hyperlinks to help you get started. This tells you more about me, my history, who I'm working with. It's got all the details for you about the authenticator apps that you're going to have to download, the setting up the account so that you can just immediately click through and get it all done. So this is as comprehensive as I could. We've got a whole bunch of initial study URLs, YouTube videos and stuff, so that you can get started really understanding this in depth. And then going from there, this is one of my homeboys' screenshots from one of his accounts. That stuff is dated from December 4th. I know it's already 4 days later, which in crypto land means a whole lot. But this is a place to get started. Here, again, the hyperlinks to some of the alternate currencies so that you can start taking a look at that. And this is going to be an evergreen document, so that's why I'm hosting it on my website. All you got to do is get yourself logged in, and you'll always be able to access this updated information. And we also just created a Facebook group called Crypto Coinversation. So that's not like a fun playing group. This is like serious discussion so that we can all move forward and advance. If you're interested in knowing more about me, I run a foundation designed to help people end suffering and achieve enlightenment. And since everybody wants to know how to make that money, I think it's real important for me to start sharing this information with you. So in terms of my intention is to help you grow in awareness and capability, and also to have some people around me so that I can bounce off ideas and learn from, and we can all just grow together. You know what I mean? So let's get started with, I'll go back here. This is one definition called FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So this is what you're seeing in the mainstream media. JP Morgan, his daughter has invested in Bitcoin. So of course he's going to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt so that that value will lower so it's easier for him to get in. But the simple fact is that Bitcoin is pretty damn unstoppable. Now, what I want to do is first start out with showing you your new best friends, Coinbase and coinmarketcap.com. So the very first play that you can make is opening up an account with Coinbase so that you can get started with buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And this looks a little bit different in your app, which is awesome. It's really easy to work with and get started on. We'll talk more about that in just a second. I want you to see coinmarketcap.com. Also, they have an app which is good. From your phone, this looks pretty different and it's not quite intuitive. From your phone right here, you will see that there is a one of those menu drop boxes that looks like the lines. It's a box with lines in it. You're going to have to click on that in order to be able to get here so that you can search currencies. So before we talk about some of my favorite picks, let's go ahead and discuss Bitcoin. Of course, in the email, I've got some different YouTube videos for you so that you can begin to understand some of the intricacies of why Bitcoin. Here, what I want you to get out of this is looking at the charts, learning how to understand looking at these charts. So we've got, since the inception, it's all the way up here. Today is December 8th. And some interesting things that are going to be happening in the next few months that you're going to want to be poised and positioned to take advantage of revolve around the value of Bitcoin, the opening of Bitcoin futures, and hopefully Amazon announcing that they're going to start accepting Bitcoins. So let me back up with you. I got started in crypto only on November 12th. And that's the reason why I got in that day, is because my friend who had been, working really hard, like all the time for the past 4 or 5 weeks, he showed me this, and I saw the dip, and I said, oh my God, I got to jump in. I got in at 6,000. Today, as you can see, it's trading at 16,000. But you see, there's a whole lot of volatility here, and so it got up to 11,000. Well, you see people on the news, and they're talking about Bitcoin should reach 10,000 by the end of December. Well, fuck, as you can see, that happened on the 1st of December, or at the end of November. But what you also see is that instead of going to 10,000, it went to 11. And then, right afterwards, it dumped way down, okay? This big kind of jump happens for a few different reasons. It can be that the market hypes up the product, and so people have what's called FOMO, which is fear of missing out, and so everybody gets in. But the way the big players trade is that they always overshoot the goal, and then that way they have more room to make money as they short the stack. So the real traders look for is a lot of volatility so that they can make money on the up as well as the down. In order for you to learn how to make money on the down, you're going to have to do some study, and you're also going to have to get probably this product, which is called Crypto Trader. This Crypto Trader is awesome. I haven't gotten into it yet, but that's my next stage. This is an intermediate level thing. What this does is this helps you to monitor whatever coins you're interested in. It lets you automate the buy and sell process, and it also helps you to set alerts so that when something gets low at the level that you want to buy in, or when something gets high at the level you want to sell out, all of that stuff is automated for you. And also what's cool about this is that you can have a lot of trading equity. So you can put 20,000 here if you get the pro version. And this also lets the live trader bots, I'm not certain, but I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that means you can have across different platforms. So like Binance, Bittrex, Coin Exchange, Gemini. I could be mistaken, but this is definitely something to take a look at as your next level once you've already gotten yourself invested in the different altcoins. And the reason why you would want to do that is because, Bitcoin has grown so much. It's so much volume, and it's already so high. Reason for that, of course, is because there's only a limited number of Bitcoin available to buy. So people on the news, such as this man, are talking about how Bitcoin's value could go up to 100 million. The ideal thing is for you to buy and hold, right? And that way you don't have to worry about the upswings. What you want to just worry about is when is the best time for you to get in. And obviously the best time for you to get in is as low as possible. For new people who have no idea how to do trading, let's just take a look at how you want to make an educated guess. Okay? So what we're going to look at are the bottoms. Okay? These are called resistance and support lines. And don't worry about my cursor bobbing up and down. Just follow my arrow. You can see that my arrow is showing a basic gradual line of support that goes from here up slightly. And these resistance lines become new support lines as the value of the currency continues to evolve, which is going to happen because this is a global thing. Another reason why this has so much volume in it is because this exchange never closes. It's unlike the stock market. It's not a 9 to 5 thing. When we Americans go to bed, Korea is going nuts. And part of the reason why there's so much value here in Bitcoin and these other alternate currencies is obviously because of oppressive governments, the devaluation of fiat currencies, and smart money, especially like in China. The last 5 years or so, China has been going through a feeding frenzy of collecting gold and silver. Because the smart money is in having real values, real store of asset. But the problem, of course, with gold and silver is that, I can't buy a loaf of bread with a chip of gold, okay? So that's why this is so fucking attractive and why it's going to remain attractive. And the other interesting thing about not necessarily Bitcoin per se, but other, quote, currencies, is that they are offering solutions to decentralize the web, of course, which is important because of this whole concept of net neutrality and governments trying to intervene. Like, imagine Cuba, you know, if you were in Cuba and you can't even have internet or whatever, or like, for example, Argentina. The Argentinians are very limited to how they're able to move their money. Venezuelans, poor Venezuelans, they've lost so much value in their currency because of the price of gasoline going down. So this is an opportunity for all of those countries to jump in and peg themselves to something that has a reliable store of value because of the limit. So one of the things that you're going to want to look for when you're trying to discover alternate currencies is you want to see if there's a limited supply of that actual currency, because scarcity creates demand because of the supply and the demand thing. Okay, so these resistance lines continually are moving up. Well, this is a huge spike right here. How I just went from boom to boom. Pretty fucking advanced. We could very well see that that this will go back down, because on December 18th, that's when the futures market opens, and that's when all of the big institutional money is going to really get in. Part of these fluctuations could be that the institutional money is testing the market. It could also just be that people have fear of missing out, they're jumping in, and what they're finding is that the system gets congested and they freak the fuck out, so they try to get out. And what happens when people get out is that they transfer into alternate currencies. So the more aware you are, running into this, the more you stock up on those alternate currencies to begin with, the sooner you're going to have a payday, most likely, of 20,000%, or at least 500%. I know a lot of people who have had 1,200% gains on their account this year alone. Bitcoin this year alone has gone up in value more than 900% at this point, and we still have 3 weeks left of this year. So one thing important for you to understand is that crypto land operates on an extremely accelerated timeline, because they keep taking this open source blockchain technology and improving on it and mastering the craft and adding different kinds of value to it. One day in crypto land is like a week in regular people land. Okay, so there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of volatility, and if you're interested in getting started in doing day trading, this has a shit ton of potential to make you a lot of money. But of course you're going to have to do your study, and that's not the point of this video. So what you want to understand about the importance of December 18th in the futures market, again, is that before that, the regular institutional trader mentality is going to run up this value as much as possible before it sells the fuck off. Okay, this is a great opportunity for you to get in now and let that run up. If you're getting in, at the time of this video, get in now, let that value run up, and when you see we're getting close to December 18th and you see that money start to dip down, get the fuck out and get over into some alternate currencies. In order for you to do that, you're going to have to set up your exchanges at some of these alternate places, such as Binance, Bittrex, and Coin Exchange. Okay? So that's really awesome. You have the opportunity to pull out there, get into some alternate currencies before they jump up, and then with new money, not your trading money that you've already put in, with new money, you're going to go ahead and buy Bitcoin when they have the sell-off. Okay? So if that doesn't happen, I'm so sorry, but that's my best educated guess right now. Also, again, on February 2nd of 2018, Amazon is going to have their earnings conference, and most likely they're going to announce that they're going to start receiving Bitcoin. Why? Because Amazon's primary competition is eBay. eBay is already accepting Bitcoin. But once Amazon goes ahead and, gets with the times, which they have to, once Amazon gets with the times, this is going to make Bitcoin part of the general population's awareness, okay? And what this guy wants to teach you about in his sales letter to help you understand the importance of learning about these alternate currencies is that Every great market has a 3-step process. When I learned this back in junior college, they were teaching it to us in the form of like the time of a generation. They would say that the first 10 years is the creation of the product. As it develops, very few people know about it. The second stage, or the second decade, is when something becomes more and more widely used, more and more widely known, but it's still kept close to the vest. And then the last 30 years is when everybody begins to adopt it, and the technology becomes old hat, and maybe the enthusiasm for it wears off, but it becomes just a staple. Now that, again, in crypto land, you can't say it's going to be 30 years. It's not going to be a generational kind of thing. This shit is moving now. And so as Mr. Alcher here talks about in his sales page, we are right now, today, December 8th, we're in that stage 2 process. But once Amazon puts themselves with Bitcoin, that's going to start moving us into the 3rd phase, where everybody creates more adoption and starts jumping into it. And again, we're arriving to that 3rd phase right now because institutional money is just about to start coming in. Once that all happens, we're going to be priced out of this market. So the people who are able to get in now are the ones who stand the biggest gains in the future. Okay? So, basic trading rules: you never want to buy at the highest point. You want to get down on a low, and it would be most optimal if you could set some alerts. Cool thing about Coinbase is that you totally can set alerts for these 3 currencies. I will say, however, that like if you're asleep, the alert doesn't seem to like make a lot of noise or stay on my phone to notify me. It seems to just kind of pop up, and I hope they make the change on that. So let's take a look real quick at some of these different charts. Ethereum is very much like Bitcoin, but the primary difference with Ethereum is that it has what's called a smart contract. So instead of people just trading on Bitcoin, you have the ability that is going to allow you to make your car payments, your rent, your mortgage, you could even do credit card payments. If you could pay out interest. You could buy a house with it. There's all different kinds of applications that Ethereum has. Also, one of the problems that you'll find with Bitcoin is that because it's so big and it was the first system, it takes a long time to, quote, mine the coins. It takes a long time to do the transaction. Right now, Bitcoin takes about 10 minutes in order for you to even move your money from one place to another. But what also happens because Bitcoin is so big is that when the market starts moving a lot or people start freaking out, this whole shit gets backed the fuck up and it can't process everything all at once. And so it can be really obnoxious when you're trying to make a big move. Like you see there's going to be a big huge drop in Bitcoin, so now you want to transfer over into altcoins, and everybody and their dog around the world is trying to do that at the same time. So those kinds of problems are being exposed now, and of course they're working on fixing that. But the cool thing about Ethereum is that it is the same as Bitcoin in that respect, but it also has these smart contracts. And because it's run by a smaller group, they're able to make decisions quicker, and it makes it a more nimble product. So for example, I think with the Ethereum, and I could be wrong, you'll check this out in the instructional videos, I think Bitcoin takes 10 minutes to transact, and Ethereum is breaking that down to as little as 2.5. I could be mistaken. That might be Litecoin. Litecoin wants to make transactions free. It wants to make them fast as fuck. And so, a really good point that was brought up in our group discussions out there on Facebook was that, when people sell off their Bitcoin, where do you think they're going to put it? They're going to put it in Litecoin. Why? Let's take a look. Litecoin has been fairly stable. Hasn't gone up and down too much. It went from 101 down to 80. That's like its biggest dip that I've seen. And right now, it's been trading stably for the past week. This is pretty fucking stable. I mean, you just $1 to 98 cents. Not that big of a deal in the overall of how big this thing could get. Imagine yourself if you could have gotten in on Litecoin at $100 and you bought like $5,000 of that and you just hold that motherfucker until it reaches to 10,000 like Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Now, the problem with that mentality, the conservative investor wants to get some Bitcoin, get some Ethereum, get some Litecoin, maybe get invested in some of the alternate currencies that are already performing very well, but they don't want to move it or trade it at all. Problem is that most of these other alternate currencies only have an exchange with Bitcoin. So you're going to have to get in. The best move is to get in on Bitcoin when there's a dip, and then when it's high, go ahead and start taking some of those profits so that you can move that into the alternate currencies. And obviously you want to move into alternate currencies or any currency as low as you can. So when you open up CoinMarketCap and you see, there's this huge, what they call a bloodbath, everything's in red, that's the time to get in. Right now, everything's in green. Why? Because yesterday everything was in red. So, you want to be positioned. For example, I got into position with some other alternate currencies like IOTA, and we'll fucking talk about that later. So, reading these things, right? Here at CoinMarketCap, I can take a look, I can see how the chart's performing, and what I want to do is go over here to markets to see where I can trade it. As far as I'm aware, Bitfinex is no longer taking Americans, but you see here we have the Gemini Exchange, we have the Bittrex, the Binance, and you can check out more information. Here's the website and the message boards and stuff. So you can do a lot of basic research here. Also, I encourage you to go on YouTube and check out what other people are doing so that you can learn. Again, in that crypto email video, I've tried to save you time by showing you what I thought were some of the most pertinent videos out there. Let's see about moving some currency. So, I don't know if I want to move anything today, but let's just go take a look. Monero is down. I wanted to get into Monero on when it was at 187, and I didn't keep the Monero that I got. And so what happened was that I switched my money from my Coinbase wallet over here to Binance, to the Binance exchange, and Monero started diving. But what was cool is that in the time lag that whole transaction took, I made some money. And so I decided to jump out of Monero and jump back into, I don't know if it was Ethereum or Litecoin, but in doing so, even though I had to pay some transaction fees and stuff, I still ended up like profiting $30 by screwing up, just because of how volatile this market is. Which $30 may not sound like a lot, but I also wasn't moving a lot, so it was something like, I ended up profiting like 15 or 20% just by moving shit around. So there's a lot of activity and gains possible in day trading if you get smart about it, but we're not at that point yet. So there are a number of different currencies here that I love. I'm not in love with Ripple, but if you will watch one of the videos provided in my crypto email, you'll get it. The guy has a screenshot of all the different major institutions that are going to be coming on board, and one of the, like, a smaller group was for Ripple, and it was like going to be 7 or 8 institutions. They may already be on board now, but as that all begins to develop and roll out, of course the stock is going to go up. It's cool right now because it's at 25%, and if we go over here and look at how this chart looks, it's gotten real high. Of course, it would have been amazing if we could have bought in while it was down here, but we didn't. Right now, it's trading right there, and if you follow the little fingertip, you can see there's a whole lot of support for this being the actual value of the currency. So today is a good day to buy Ripple. Not a bad day. And at 25 cents, who fucking cares if it goes down a little bit? If it goes down 5 cents, this is going to jump up. You can see it's already number 5 in the list. The market cap is, substantial. Of course, it's nowhere near like Bitcoin, but imagine that bitch going from 10 million, or what is it? Is that 10 million? Imagine that market cap going from 10 billion to 263 like Bitcoin. You know, get in while there's still a ton of room. Another tool, let me go back here and see, Ico Stats, right? Another tool is Ico Stats, which is pretty awesome. In the email that I'm going to provide to you, there is this video link. This video link is explaining to you about ICOs, which are initial coin offerings, and pre-ICOs. It's a really long thing. But what I did is I just kept pausing the video to stop and study all of the different currencies that they mentioned here. Some of them were bullshit now, and some of them were like, damn, wish I had gotten in. So a lot of this stuff makes sense. ICO and pre-ICO are considered much higher risk, so don't put your money down on ICOs unless you can afford to lose it. However, this is an area where you can buy the initial coin before it even hits a single market, and in a lot of cases it already adds value. You've already gained a percentage before, you know, once it just barely releases, and then you have an opportunity in many cases for it to shoot up, you know, 10,000 or 20,000%. The issue with ICOs is that sometimes people might hype it up, and in the final analysis it may not have enough security and development and all of that for it to be a viable coin, and it can tank. So you stand a lot of opportunity to make a shit ton of money if you get out on time. But then you also have this risk of, like, for example, there have been a number of coins that, you know, they got big, but then hackers go in and test it and steal everything. So, you know, that's where the risk is. However, you know, you could put $250 down on some ICOs. Like right now, Davor coin, or Davor, however you say it, that's an ICO that I've been tipped off to. The other issue about ICOs is that there's a feeding frenzy usually to pick these coins up. And so you might have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning or some shit like that in order to even be able to get in, and then at that point you still might not be able to get any. So it can be very frustrating. It definitely can be a commitment. I personally am not that committed. I know people who are, and they're going to be in the crypto group called Crypto Coinversation on Facebook. But anyway, Ico Stats is a really cool tool. I'll make sure that I've got that in the email. Hold on. Did I put that? Right, Sean. Yeah. Boom. Alright, we'll fuck with that later. Let's go over and take a look at Ico Stats. ROI since last week, Populous. I don't know anything about it, but you could... how do you click on this? I don't know, I haven't really used this yet. I'm not into ICOs yet. Wager. Sentiment. Sentiment looks badass. Let's go check that out. So again, we go over here to our friend, Coin Market Cap, and we type in Sentiment Network Token. Let's take a look at this bad boy. The thing about getting into this crypto market and learning to trade and everything is you're going to need a pretty powerful computer. I thought that I had a badass laptop. You know, I tried to buy a laptop a while back that would be good, like a gamer's laptop, and it's shit right now. I don't know if that's just me having some kind of a virus or whatever, but part of the reason why I can't get things done is because my computer just runs too damn slow. So in order for me to keep my research open, have a bunch of pages open with all the different things that I want to track and follow before I go ahead and invest into the crypto trader subscription, before I get there, I'm going to have a whole bunch of different screens open, and that's going to lag down your computer just enough to piss you off and completely demotivate you. Anyway, so cool. Sentiment is only $3 right now. Let's take a look at, you know, understanding and examining this chart. What I like about this right off the bat is that it hasn't been out for very long and it's already taking off. Okay, there are some others that I'll look at, you know, that have been out since just October or since just November, and they're already taking off, and they're still at pennies on the dollar, which is just fantastic. So I'm cool with spending $150 or $300 to get in on something that has so much upside potential, right? Imagine if you could have been right here when I got in. If I had been able to buy, you know, at 25 cents. Well, it's still only it's still $3. So let's take a look at, is now the time to get in, or should we wait for it to go back down? I think, we have a support line here, and it's shot up. This is the support line. Here we have some support. Let's take a look here a little bit. Go over and look at the 1 month. That support got tested, it kept going up. Support got tested, kept going up. Okay, but look here. You see this dip down at 238? Actually, let's get even closer. This dip down to 220. Here's a dip, and there's a dip. Again, at about 220. Then we see a lot happening at like this support level. This is between 250, that's 238. Again, we have 240, more support right here, around 239. Again, lots of support happening right on that down part, 240. So it went from 239 to 241. Let's take a look here, 261. So you can see that real resistance and new support line. It's rising some, but again, there's not a shit ton of difference between 260 and $3. Here again, that lowest point, 284, and the market's testing. There's a whole lot of resistance and stuff, but basically this looks like a really good time to get in. If we got in at $3, we've already seen it go to 3.20 in less than 2 fucking days. So yeah, sentiment network, badass. Let's go see where I can buy some sentiment. I can't get on Bitfinex. Motherfucker. Sentiment. I should start tracking this, and as soon as they get into an exchange that I can buy into, I'll be super stoked. If I'm mistaken about this Bitfinex, somebody please comment in the comment section, or send me an email, or get into our crypto group and tell me I don't know what the fuck. Well, don't tell me I don't know what the fuck. Again, in order to get into our crypto group, it's going to ask you a couple of questions, and the first one is, do you promise not to be a dick or otherwise troll people? So we'll try to keep it cool. But yeah, sentiment, very interesting. So at this point, if I had a bigger computer with a badass graphics card and a couple of screens, I would definitely keep sentiment open. If I had this trading tool, I would go ahead and look at sentiment, and I would make sure that if sentiment goes down to 284, that I'm going to get an alert. And then also with that, it would allow me to automatically place a buy-sell order. So I would automatically place a buy order at like 2.9, okay? And then you might put a buy order in if it goes all the way down to like right here, 2.62, because again, we had a lot of support happening at that area. I wish this fucking box would move. I don't know how to use that other tool, the more advanced tools yet, though. I haven't gotten that far. But follow my my cursor, not this green, or not this box that keeps jumping up and down. Right here, 240, 250, 260. So you can see that basically on a daily basis, this is gaining 10 cents a day right now. Again, when we look at the whole year, it's not been around for very long, and it's already got a lot of great volume. So the next thing to do would, of course, be to go look at the website, get on YouTube and see what people are saying about it. So yeah, of course, it does take a study and hobby, but Netflix and binging on movies and binging on TV, that shit's not making you any money. And I am just a super, super firm believer that rich people have libraries and poor people have TVs. And I don't fucking watch TV. I haven't had a TV in 10 years. In fact, this past April, June, was the first time I have owned a TV in like 11 or 12 years, and that was given to me by my boyfriend. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to spend all of my weekend watching movies when I can be watching this and getting in and making a shit ton of money. So I'm trying to build the house that crypto built, and people who are conservative and don't want to be actively involved in this, you just want to go ahead and make some smart moves. Again, in this email, I've got my picks, my buddy's picks, and so, this is research that's already been done and digested for you. Again, we're not your financial advisors, but this is a place for you to start so that you can start seeing what good ideas look like, okay? Being able to identify something that's really got potential versus something that could be full of bullshit. Because right now, there are like over 800 different cryptocurrencies available, and there's more coming out all the time. So, I would encourage you to get yourself a subscription. I don't know if Mr. Alcher's report is going to be the best report. What I can tell you is that Mr. Alcher, I started receiving his report because of marijuana stocks, his tracking and information about marijuana stocks. And every month he puts out the report. This report for December talks about marijuana stocks. It talks a bit about crypto. It talks about some other kinds of stocks that I'm not fucking interested in. But for $50 a year, that's not a bad deal. One of these other guys, like the dude who talks about the ICOs, that guy is trying to sell you a subscription for $3,000. And if I had $3,000 to just drop on that, it would be badass. But that's for the next level of player who's got some real flow. Because with the ICO, the primary ICO that he wants to promote, it seems like it has the right people, the right development team behind it. But the reason why my buddy says fuck it is because it could be that this guy is just, really influential and he's trying to hype something up so that they can pump and dump it. I kind of don't believe that, but overall, this dude is pretty solid. And I encourage you to if you're watching these presentational videos on people's sales pages and shit, stop and pause it and do your research. Because while I was watching this dude talk about the different currencies, and the same thing for Mr. Alcher, they show you charts where they say, look, if you had only gotten in at this time, you could have made 20,000%. So I went and I fucking studied about it on coinmarketcap.com, and now I can see that, yeah, it went up really super fucking high, but it also dropped down to shit, so that's not my best pick. There are other things out there that are doing well much more consistently. So, anyway, it's time to move on and get you logged in. Let me show you what it looks like to log into Gemini. It's asking me for an authenticator app. Gemini has its own authenticator app called Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. So I had to download that. And yay, now I am in my back office. Later on in the video, I'll show you some more about how not to fuck up with Gemini your first time. And you'll be able to see that a little bit later on in the video. Let's keep going. Binance. Binance looks like this. And again, we have an authenticator. It says Google Authenticator, but it has its own. Does it have it? Oh no, it doesn't have its own app. It says Google Authenticator, but I don't know that that's going to work. Let's see. I was over at my buddy's house last night, and he was telling me that all of his authenticators are inside his Google Authenticator, but that's not the case for me, so I don't fucking know. You can see I'm not fully verified. I still have to submit some verification documents. I'm sure that once I do that, I'll be able to put more money in and get going further. But anyway, you want to go over here to deposits and withdrawals. And you can see that I'm real in IOTA and Yo-Yo. Again, if you want to find out who that is, just go over to CoinMarketCap, type in Yo-Yo, and you'll be able to read more information about it. And there's a lot of volatility here. A few days ago, when IOTA spiked, this account which hasn't changed in terms of the actual amount of coins. This spiked up to like almost $9,000 a few days ago. So it's really fucking volatile, but there's a lot of room for growth. And I've got some information for you in the email for why I like IOTA. But what's interesting about IOTA, again, is it's a small alternate currency, and so you can't buy it, of course, in Coinbase. So you've got to go over here and open a Binance account. In order for you to get funds over here so that you can trade on IOTA, you're going to have to transfer BTC. And how do I know that? Because when I go over here to basic, don't click on the advanced, it looks too complicated, you won't be able to understand it. Here, I go here to see about IOTA. The only thing available for IOTA is a BTC exchange. So how am I going to get BTC over here to this wallet? What you're going to want to do is go over here to Coinbase, click accounts, and if I had any BTC to send, I would click this button. Let's pretend that I can buy some more IOTA with Ethereum. I'm going to click on send, and here's where I'm going to paste in the address of that wallet. Where is my ETH? So I type in ETH for Ethereum and deposit. It's going to give me this code, which I'm going to copy and paste over here. Okay? And it says, let me send the maximum amount. Okay, so I can send the maximum amount, and I'm just going to say example, just to change wallets. And I'm going to send my 870 over here to the Binance exchange instead. I don't actually want to do that right now, so just pretend I clicked continue. And there's going to be some delay from the time that it's actually received into this wallet. If I'm not mistaken, Ethereum can be received quicker than Bitcoin, but again, if this system is backed up, it could take a long time. So it's cool that this gives you alerts in your email. Obviously, you want to have your email set up as an app on the front of your phone so that you can see that shit. But yeah, so let's pretend that it's already in my wallet. And I've got IOTA. So if I had the Ethereum in my wallet, I would go over here and let's just take a look at what all is available. There's only Ethereum to BTC on Binance. So you can see it's kind of a limited exchange, but it's got some of those bigger ones that people are already interested in. So the way you do it is you simply click here and it tells you what's the maximum amount that you can buy. That's awesome. It automatically populates that for you. You click buy and boom, you're all gravy. However, some of these other more obscure exchanges or more obscure coins are a little bit more complicated. So let me go ahead and show you that. Let's log into Bittrex. I always tell it to remember me. It never fucking does. That's for my safety and security, you know. But it also adds time to the amount of time I actually have to invest in this shit. Come on, Bittrex. And as you can see, my computer doesn't want to work. So, yeah, I've got a guy right now looking up how much it's going to cost to get me a nice graphics card with a couple of screens. I'm happy to share that information with you. Once you get the email, if you just want to, send me back an email to ask for his contact details, I'll do that. But first I'm going to verify that he'll be able to get that set up for you no matter where you are across the U.S. He's a guy I know locally that I know, like, and trust. So, okay. Bittrex, your Bittrex back office. Let's go over here to wallets. And as you can see, right now in this wallet, all I have is ADA or Cardano. So I got tipped off on Cardano, and I sent some BTC over to this wallet. Let's see what would happen. Alright, so I would click on this, and it's going to give me an address that I'll copy and paste to. You can use this over here. Personally, I don't know how to use that. I'm not so comfortable with it, so that's an alternate option. But yeah, and so this is how you would copy and paste the money into this account. And once you've got the BTC, you're going to go over to this market. I'm going to click on that, click search, and it shows me the Cardano market. In order for me to make a transaction here, what I'm going to have to do is go over to ask. You click on ask. You can see, you know, point blah 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 715. I'm going to see if I can get an ask for less than 0.715. But as you can see, this is how the market, you know, has its support. So 0.715, boom. I jumped in. Now it says that I'm going to type in, you know, how much I want to get, and then, you know, it's based off of how many BTC I have available. So that's all good by Cardano, right? That makes sense. Again, you have to remember to go over here to ask, take a look at what that is, and then scroll down here, 7.13, you know, cool. Let's go over to Coin Exchange. So the reason why I opened up over here on coinexchange.io is because I found out about No Limit Coin, and I was like, yes! No Limit Coin is for fantasy gaming. So right now in the United States, for the past few years, like fantasy football has become a really big thing. Imagine instead of fantasy football, which is kind of illegal, and sports betting, which is pretty fucking illegal, especially in the United States, imagine that going from a USD thing, which is, you know, kind of an antiquated system of trying to get cash so that you can actually make these exchanges. Imagine instead of you fucking with cash, now you're going to get some no limit coins so that you can play on that market. No Limit Coin is not just for football, it's for all different kinds of games all across the world. So people who would be interested in betting on the World Cup, or making a fantasy football team for, or a fantasy soccer team for World Cup. The other cool thing about No Limit Coin is it's also is like a token, like you can spend it. So some of the videos that I've provided for you in the email will explain to you all about that. And definitely for the No Limit Coin, you want to take a look at my email and save yourself some fucking time, because you know, I spent a couple of hours, you know, with watching bullshit videos, because there are some people out there on YouTube that just shouldn't be. But anyway, so I decided I wanted to buy myself some No Limit Coin. This was for me a little bit difficult, and I actually had to go over to my buddy's house and I have him show me how to do this. So pay attention. We're gonna go. Well, no, that's not how he showed me to do this. He said, first, go over here. You can see, here's the No Limit Coin market. You're going to click on that. And when you do so, this is a little bit less intuitive than Binance. So what you're going to have to do is scroll down here to the sell orders. And let's see. So when I click on that, it puts in the price. I'm going to say I want, you know, it's also going to show me how many BTC I have available. Since I don't have any available right now, it's not showing me anything. Initially, when I first did this, it was kind of weird. It showed me, it said the word infinity. Or because I didn't have any BTC, it told me no. So what I had to do is you had to go over here and click on your BTC. And as you can see, now it's populated how many BTC I have available. So it tells me this is how much of the No Limit Coin that I can buy. There's no fee. That's pretty badass. Let me submit my order. Minimum order value is 1.0. So I don't have enough BTC in order to buy this. That's why that shit's still there. But anyway, that's how it would go. You just want to scroll down here to the sell price, click on that, it's going to populate for you. You've got to go up here and click directly on the BTC, and it'll populate out for you. I had been clicking over here, which that's, I think, how it started showing me infinity or whatever error I was getting. Okay? So you're clear on that. And, yeah. So that's pretty much all you need to know in order to get started. Coinbase has a limit of like 2,000 a week. Gemini There's no limit. And as you'll see a little bit later on in this video, I'll show you how to keep from fucking up with your first transfer into Gemini. So I hope you find this video really valuable. If so, do me a favor and click like, share, and subscribe. That way we can go ahead and get this video out to more people, and by virtue of doing that, with more awareness, there is an opportunity for our foundation to get known and seen, and that way we can help more people end suffering, achieve enlightenment, open themselves up to receiving great abundance in all of its forms, and of course that's a good thing. So for everybody who likes my video, I'm going to eat something healthy or do something healthy for my body. For everybody who shares our Crypto 101 video, we're going to give a homeless person $1 for every time you share this video, and then for everybody who subscribes to my channel, I'm going to smoke one less cigarette, okay? So let's all grow in awareness and capability together, and keep watching the video because I've got some other really cool shit to show you. Hey, so I want to help make sure that you dodge a bullet and don't mess up like I almost did. I almost lost $850 because I didn't put this. Okay, so when you're first getting set up on Gemini, like I said, the advantage of Gemini is that they don't have a limit to how much you can transfer in, unlike Coinbase, where they'll only let you put in like $2,000 or $2,500 per week. And I don't know what the difference is, because my boyfriend was able to put it in $2,500. I only can put in $2,000. But anyway, Gemini, the very first thing that they want to do in order to verify you is to have you send a bank wire transfer. After that, you don't have to remember this step, and you'll be able to just get it to deduct from your bank account. But the very first thing you want to do is make absolutely certain that you set that up. Now, let me explain to you how I almost messed this up. I took this amount and I put it in the notes section of my bank's back office instead of taking that section, that code, and putting it into the wire transfer instructions themselves. Okay? Don't mess this up. So, if I were to go into my bank account and I go to set up this transaction, all of this information, like I said, I took that copy and I put it in my notes section. And it told me that that doesn't get sent off to the bank. That's just here for my own personal notes. Well, thank God I'm so ambitious that I tried to make another transfer again today, and I caught it before it actually, before the funds sent. So I called up the bank and I was like, hey, I had to call a special number with my bank. They said no, in fact, that special memo wasn't on the transfers. I was like, okay, cancel them. So tomorrow, this $850 is going to go back into my account, and I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to make absolutely certain that this memo reference number is there. Okay? So you do that and get yourself set up and started. Okay? And what I'm going to do now is to show you how to make an exchange on Binance. Hey, so before we had these little technical glitches, if I refer back to what I was doing when I was setting up this example and waiting for the transfer and everything, I was going to make a decision on whether or not we buy substratum or do we go ahead and buy Power Ledger. So I'm looking at the chart right now for substratum, and it's cool that it's only been going on since September. It's got a lot of really good gain on it, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not sure if this is going to have a pullback or not. It's come down some. There's a whole lot of support here. I just am not certain if right now is the time to buy. I would love to see if I can get in around here. I want to see if the market's going to pull back to this area. So I'm going to watch this one real closely. This will be my next one to get in. Again, because I love that it's only at 31 cents and I can get a whole bunch of them. It's not had too long, so there's a lot of good momentum on it. It's in the news. It's, part of the foundation of what this whole movement is all about. So I'm still totally bullish on it, but I want to see if it pulls back a little bit. Let me go over and look at Power Ledger. Power Ledger has only been going on since November, and it's got great movement. We're likely that this right here, don't pay attention to how it moves up and down. Pay attention to where my cursor is going, okay? My cursor is going here at 1.59, down here 1.56, and so this is where I'm seeing that the market support is at right now, okay? So 73, do I really want to buy right now? 0.73 versus 0.92, but that's only a month, you know? If I had gotten in over here at 5 cents, shoot. So I'm going to go ahead and put down on Power Ledger and see how much I can get. Let me go to Binance, where earlier you remember I put the Bitcoin, I did a transfer from my Coinbase into Bitcoin. That amount has arrived. So I'm ready to go to the exchange. You want to click on Basic. If you go to Advanced, it looks too complicated. You won't know what to do. So go to Basic. And what we're going to do is look up Power Ledger. We want to see what exchange is available for Power Ledger. So Power Ledger is Power and BTC. Let me just double check that because I'm a newbie. Power. Okay. So I am on the Power Ledger and BTC exchange. When I click on this, this tells me how many BTC I have available. So the maximum number that I can buy is 73. And boom! We just transferred. I think this was what, like a $50 example or something? Which kind of cost me a little bit of money because, again, Bitcoin has some pretty large fees. So, you know, I think Ethereum is going to be an awesome solution, or even Litecoin being an awesome solution. So, stay tuned, get your accounts open, get your money moved over so that you can start playing. Have a good night.